Okay guys, so I thought I might as well get something up on my channel, even if it's just me cooking dinner for like the first night that I've made it. So we've got, what are we doing? We're doing some pork, ribs, because that's what was on special at the supermarket. We're going to do some potatoes, although we don't have many. We're going to try and make a Brussels sprout salad and like more of a warm salad. And then we grew fresh figs in the garden, so we're going to try those out as well. First things first, I'm going to get into this pork. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm just sort of going to put a rub on this giant piece of smelly meat. So it should sort of fit in the pan. Preferably if you had one, you'd want like a nice flat pan, but you know, work with what you got. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make sort of a quick like Asian sort of marinade, but not really. What I like to do is generally take recipes off the internet and then change them for my own laziness and what I have in the house. So I'm just going to put on some hoisin, just, you know, along the piece of meat that you got. Some little blobs along there, and then I'll massage this all in once I got all the ingredients on top. So, I don't know, maybe about 3 tablespoons of that one. And then we're going to do about the same amount with the oyster sauce, probably a bit less because it's a lot runnier. But then you just want to sort of drizzle it all the way along. Stuff's got a pretty strong flavour too. And then we're also going to put on some fresh garlic because we grew some garlic in the backyard as well. Just going to grab a board for that. Now, I don't know why everybody says peeling garlic skin off is so difficult. What I always do is just sort of smash it in half and then it just comes off. So nice and easy. Then what we're going to do, just sort of thinly slice it. Now make sure when you're cutting stuff that you always got your fingers tucked back. Now, I don't always cut properly, but it's great if you do. Once it's all sliced, I'm just going to chop it up nice and fine so that it will actually rub into the meat. I mean, ideally, you would have wanted to have marinated it, but like I just got home from work, so it's whatever the hell you've got time for, really. Okie dokie, so let's get that on. And I'm just going to add a little bit of oil as well, because who doesn't love a heap of oil? Massage that in, and we're just going to add a bit of brown sugar as well, just to get that sweetness out. Plus, I really find that pork goes well with sweet stuff, especially when you're doing it in the oven sort of thing. Oh, that's a good point. You want to preheat your oven as well to like 180, and don't be an idiot like me and just not do it because you forgot totally. Alright, now time to get the hands in there. It always feels a bit gross, but it's definitely worth massaging that in. And then, as you've got that side, you just want to flip her over. Really get everything nice and covered. Sounds great too, doesn't it? Just moist massaging sounds. Alright guys, now I've sort of massaged it in. You want to get as much off the sides as possible, but you know, you do you. I couldn't get everything, but just so it doesn't burn. But yeah, once it's all good, you're just going to whack that in the oven for... I'll tell you how long it took at the end, because I really don't know. But you just want to get it nice and caramelized. Now my oven's broken, which is really convenient. But that's why I'm putting a drink bottle and tape around it. Okay, so now I'm going to cut up some potatoes. We don't have many, unfortunately. But I'm just going to leave the skin on because I've already washed these ones. Just cut off the eyes, and I was reassured that purple eyes don't mean that it's bad because of the certain type of potato it is, which is great. And you know, if you guys think I'm gonna die, just tell me in the comments, and hopefully it doesn't actually happen. So I just want to cut these up into, you know, as uniform as you can, but it doesn't really matter. Just as long as they're in chunks that are gonna roast up nice. What I always do with potatoes is just sprinkle on some mixed herbs. That's a lot of mixed herbs. And then just some of the dry garlic. I would use fresh, but we're sort of running out, so it doesn't really make too much of a difference. It's all going in the oven anyway. Plus less chopping. And then drizzle on some oil all the way on there. Plenty of oils. And then just go in with your hands and give it a good mix around. Make Make sure everything's covered. And then spread it back out. And it's all ready to go in the oven. Alright, so the next thing we're gonna do is cut up some Brussels sprouts. Now, I always find that putting Brussels sprouts with bacon just makes them so good. So I'm not a big fan. They just sort of look like baby cabbages to me. But yeah, bacon helps with a lot of things, really. You know, I wish I was more in America and I could be crazy about it. But you know, in Oz, I don't know, we're still pretty crazy about it. Less so. We downplay our craziness. And yeah, I'm just cutting these ones in half, and then I'm gonna chuck them in the oven. Okay, so pork's been in for about half the time that I want it to be. I think it's been like 25 minutes, so we're just gonna whip that out and give it a nice flip. Hopefully all goes well. So I mean, looking pretty good at this stage. Just trying to get some of that marinade off from the bottom and onto the top. Pretty good. Hoping it'll cook up nicely. And back in the oven and so we're going to pork up top, spuds down the bottom, cooking nicely. And what a fun job it is closing this oven. Okay, so back to the Brussels sprouts, and I had to read up online because I found some black spots and stuff. It's either bacteria or I didn't even cut this one in half. Good job by me. But yeah, either bacteria or it says aphids. But either way, I've just taken out most of the black. And, you know, it said both of them are edible, so I'm not too fast, but I try to get off most as I can, as you can see. Nice massive waste pile that'll be going in the compost. Yeah, so what we want to do with these guys now, we want to put them on a baking tray. We're just going to cover them in some beautiful oil and then whack them in the oven to get nice and crispy and all browned up. So spread them out as best you can, obviously. If they're all nice and flat, that'd be great, but you know, use what you got and just drizzle a nice big lot of oil over top. Quick mix through with your hands just to incorporate all that. Oh, don't get oil on your shirt like I have. Maybe wear an apron, and then you're all good to go. So next thing you want to do is cut up the bacon. Now I have a heap of bacon because that was what was on special at the supermarket. However, you definitely don't need this much for this recipe. Just want to cut it up into nice little cubes because this is going to go with the Brussels sprouts. And so we're going to do a Brussels sprout and bacon warm tossed salad. 2 ingredients, still a salad. Alright, so now that we've got all this cut up, I used about 3 of those, and no, I didn't cut any of the fat off because I think fat is flavour. Now, what you gotta do, first of all, get your pan nice and hot. That's important. And yep, we've got our water bottle oven holder here, and we're just gonna drizzle a nice amount of oil in there. Get that heating up. Now, I like to think that everything's really hot, but you don't need it licking up the sides, so just turn it down till it's a nice amount. Swish that oil around. Trying to cover as much as you can, and we're going to chuck our little bacon cubes, well, slats, and then into the pan. And we're just going to chuck them all in there. As the pan starts to heat up, that'll start sizzling away there. Now that we've got the pan hot and the bacon on, you just want to give it a bit of a stir, but it'll do its work by itself. As long as it's sort of spread out, touching the pan. Just leave that to fizzy up. And while that is going, we're going to come across here and cut up one of these massive onions. Now I always find it easier to peel onions once you cut it in half. And these are massive onions. So you might even want to cut ones this big in quarters. And we're just going to give it a rough dice. It doesn't need to be too small, you know, it's being mixed in with the Brussels sprouts and the bacon. So as long as you're matching like a similar size, you just want to all the way along dicing that up to nice little cubes. So this bacon has been on for about 5 minutes and already it's super crispy. Let's just turn that heat back up and get nice and crisp. And we've cut up all the onions. So what we want to do is just let that crisp for half a second more. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab out a bowl. Turn the heat off. I'm going to try to keep all that bacon oil in there and just flick some of this bacon in here, because what we're going to do is put the onions in here. Okie dokie, now we're going to get this. This is just one onion, by the way. Like, I'm so shocked at how massive this singular onion is. And we just want to get that all in the pan, and I actually didn't spill anything, which is really pleasing. Most of the onions in there. If you're doing this at home, try not to spill it everywhere like I'm evidently doing, and maybe try to get all the bacon out like I should have, but there's still one little baby bit in there. And yeah, what we want to do is, we're just getting the pan back off the heat obviously because I turned it off when I took the bacon out. So once it's up, we're just going to leave it in here to soften rather than get all crisp. So it's pretty hot now. Just going to turn that down nicely. And the onions should just sweat out, which is going to make me cry. But just let us do its thing, give it a few minutes. And while it's doing that, we're going to get started on our fig salad. Relatively uniform, but we're not too fast. We're just going to chuck them over here on the stove. Get that heat going. Just toast them for about 5 minutes until they're nice and fragrant. So we've got our homegrown figs here. Now they do look a bit gnarly, but they were grown with love, so that's what's important. Plus, Mum said she had to look online, and figs are right when they're nice and squishy, and they got the splits in them anyway. All we want to do is we're just going to chop them into 4, and then do a nice little slice dice. So I just got, you know, one of the mixed leaf salads at the supermarket. It was reduced, so it's looking a bit sad, but we're eating it tonight, so it shouldn't be too bad. So we've got our salad here. Ideally dry leaves, but you know, when you're lazy and it's nearly 9 o'clock and you haven't eaten in many hours, this is what you can be bothered doing. So for the salad, chuck all those leaves in there because we want to be nice and healthy. Then we're going to put some beautiful figs on top. Spread these around. Come on, Star! So we've got a kitty cat in the background who likes to meow at people. So the next thing we want to add to our figs is some cheese. Now the recipe said goat's cheese, but I just went with some feta because that's what feta's like my favourite, and also always readily available at the supermarket. That wasn't going to cost me an arm and a leg. So I'm just going to break this up and crumble it on top. As much or as little cheese as you like. And you can, you know, you could use goat's cheese or feta or any soft cheese you want. You could even try parmesan if you wanted to, like the shaved chunks. So next what we want to do, sprinkle on some of those walnuts that we toasted. See, they've got a nice colour now. And then we're going to hit it with that balsamic vinegar. Now, you know, balsamic vinegar is the sort of thing that you should be spending your money on. This one's really good. Any brand. Tried home brand. No, just not the same. And then we also want to hit it with a nice drizzle of oil. Yes, we use a lot of oil. Accept it. Love it. The recipe that I found online that was sort of similar to this said to add mustard, but like, check the fridge, don't have any, totally forgot to buy some, so it's still going to taste great anyway. I mean, what's not to love? Big feta walnuts. Okay, so the onion's been going for a while now. I just turned up the heat to get a nice little brown going, but we're getting pretty close, guys. And it's pretty much done there. So, turn that off. I'm going to grab our Brussels sprouts out of the oven. Then what we want to do, we're going to pour these onto the plate here. Getting them all on. Don't burn yourself. Don't be like me. Use tongs. Use something. So, got the Brussels sprouts. Spread the onions around. We probably don't need all these onions. But put them on there. And then what we're also going to do, sprinkle this bacon on top. Beautiful baby that it is. And just get some tongs. Toss it all together. A little bit of lemon over the top. Hopefully it's going to taste nice. And then some pepper. And some salt, because who doesn't love salt? And then just a little bit more oil. And there you go. That one's all done. So, we've got our meat out of the oven. Or maybe before you take food out of the oven, make sure there's room on the bench. But why not? Not all perfect. Oh, look at those beautiful juices. You just want to leave your meat to rest for a good 5 to 10 minutes. Otherwise, you know, she's not going to be great. But it should be cooked. It's looking good, and that was in for about an hour. And then, lucky last, we got our potatoes that went in right at the start. They're not as brown as I would like, but even though it's 9 p.m. and I didn't even really have lunch, I'm gonna eat now. So, as you can see, we've got our fig, feta and walnut salad, got our roasted potatoes, our pork ribs, and our bacon and Brussels sprouts. That's everything that I've done for tonight. Hopefully you guys, you know, get some inspiration, or even if you want to make the same thing, just maybe put the potatoes in for a bit longer. But aside from that, you know, you can marinate the meat, but everything else, yeah, knock yourself out. And thanks for watching.